Boom. He's back 3 hours later, maybe 2.5. Yo, back, part 2, pork belly dishes. Here we go. Come over here. I've just taken out the pork belly. It's been out for about 15 minutes now. And I've removed the baking paper that was underneath it, and I strained the fat. Right here is the fat that came off the pork, yeah? And I'm going to just flip it. I'm going to flip it because it's cooler. Don't do it when it's hot. Boom. And there you go. That's what it should look like. Sometimes you need to flip it and it's still quite soft on the top, but if you listen to this, it's pretty crispy. So if it's soft or some chewy bits on the top, put it in the oven and boost the heat up from 150 to about 240 again for another 5 minutes, and now crisping it. But this is crispy, so it doesn't need it to be done. And look at that, fantastic. And all I'm going to do is going to cool that, because I'll portion it up and then I'll reflash it and reheat it again. But that's your pork belly done. Similar to the Asian style, but a lot less fuss, easier, and just as good. Come over here. I'm going to make the condiments. What I decided to do was, what we are going to do is kumara and potato mash, because this is like the entry level pork belly dish. And I'm just going to put this in boiling water. So come over here. Boiling water, salted as well, and put that in there. So I'm just going to make a mash. So that's going to go on there until it's nice and soft. Then I'm going to strain it, let it sit for a little while, strain it, let it sit for a while, and then I'll mash it, and I'll show you how to do that later. If you saw the the kumara dish, the kumara pav that I made the last time for the duck dish, same way with my whisk. Also, I'm going to make a plum compote. I got some fresh plums from the shop, pretty cheap, $2, or raid someone's tree, whatever does it for you. I used to have a plum tree, but it fell down. Don't know why. Peace, rest in peace, plum tree. But this is what I want you to do. There's a small seed in this, so you just want to cut through and go around it. So straight through, and you'll see the pip is right there. We just discard that. Boom. And all you're doing is just basically cutting it in 3 and then in half again. See that? Boom. Do it again. So this is half. So I'm just going to go half and half again. This is a rough chop, nothing too flash. Boom. And boom. And that one just needs a boom. And this one needs a boom boom. Lovely. There you go. That's nice and rustic. And this is plum, and I'm gonna make a plum compote. Plum sauce goes real well with pork, so this is a sort of a nicer way of doing it, rather than just getting your convenience plum sauce. This is quite a chunky compote. A compote is stewed fruits, if you don't know what it is. Relish is similar to stewed fruits, but more softer and stewed more, I guess. Yeah, lovely. That's the faster way to do this. Here we go, and basically do that. Boom. So you have that, and then what I'm going to add to that, I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to put on the heat right now, and I'm going to add some brown sugar. You don't have to worry about the quantities. You just want to go on flavour. So can you see I've put in, that's roughly about nearly 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, or 1.5 to 2. Right? Can you see that? Then what I'm going to add to it is a bit of white wine vinegar. Get the sweet and sour thing going. And it's only just to dilute it and to balance the flavour. Okay? You don't want it to be too much. Because what's going to happen, this is going to reduce, this is going to mix, reduce, and start combining and becoming a nice caramelized texture. And because you don't want to really mush or overcook this, so you don't put too much liquid in here. As you can see, it's quite thick already, and we're just basically going to reduce that. It's going to take about 5 minutes. And what you can also add to that is a bit of pepper if you want a bit of spice, a bit of chili if you want. but I'm going to just keep it basically that brown sugar, white wine vinegar, and the actual plum. And that right there, oh, beautiful. The flavor is outstanding, yo. So we're just going to put that on a medium to high heat and let that, as soon as it starts boiling, turn it down and let it simmer. And we just basically want that just to reduce a little. While we're doing that, we're going to make some jus, or some basic beef stock for the dish. This is what we have here. If you work in a restaurant, obviously you make it from scratch, but you know, no one has time to roast bones for 8 hours and whatnot. So $3, 1 litre, boom, easy. And we're just going to add that to our pot. As you can see, it's basically just a stock. It needs to be reduced. So we'll put that on the heat. So that's not really the desired beef sauce or pork sauce consistency. As you can see, this is boiling over here. See, so we're just going to turn that down just a fraction here. It's all going. So we've got the mash on. Sorry, turn on the wrong one. Boom. We have the mash on. We also have the compote on, and then we also have the beef. It's going to be a pork jus one. What is a no-no in a kitchen, or in a chef's kitchen, or in a restaurant kitchen, is this shit here. Boom, pork gravy. But because this is designed for families, and time is of the essence, and you know we can't spend hours and hours trying to prepare sauces. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of this in. This will help in thicken the stock. You want to whisk it in because you get lumps otherwise, and you don't want to tip the whole packet in because it thickens quite quickly. See that? Just want to mix it in. It is best to mix it while it's cold, because when it's hot it starts to get lumpy. Just a couple of chef tricks there. Boom. See, so it's gonna get a bit cloudy, which is not ideal, but remember, we're not in a restaurant, but we want more flavor. And the thing is, it's quite expensive to get beef stock, so you don't want to reduce the shit out of it. It's, you know, it's good as it is. And what I'm going to do, come over here, is I'll have some garlic, fresh garlic. And I'm just going to squash it like that. Boom. And then I have some onion, red onion. I'm going to roughly chop it. And all I'm going to do to that is add that to the stock. Okay, so I want to bring that to the boil. I'm also going to add a little bit of brown sugar. Like for this amount, about 1.5 teaspoons, because you don't want it to be too sweet. But that's going to also help it from being salty and balance the flavors. We haven't got red wine. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of white wine, which is a no-no, but it doesn't matter. We still want a bit of wine flavour, yes? So just use what you got at home. This is not the ideal, but wine is wine. Red is obviously better. But because you have the thickener, or the pork gravy, that will be our thickener. So you don't have to worry about it, okay? I'm just teaching you little tricks. And then all we're going to do is let that cook out for a little while. And before that, I finish that, I'm going to add a little secret ingredients. Come here. This is my secret ingredients. Over here, I have quince paste. All right, this is quite a novelty. You normally have this with cheese, but quince goes real well with pork. And all I'm going to do is basically a teaspoon of this. Because if you can see, it's like jam-like, or even thicker than jam. So when that sets, it's gonna give my my beef jus here a sweet, but it's gonna help it gelatinize, which is what sauces are good. So when you reduce it by half, so we want to reduce this a little bit, will gelatinize and become a jelly-like, and that's the consistency you want with stock. Boom. Okay. What we're going to do now, we've gone over the condiments, so come up here, we've gone over everything. You got the pork belly, crispy, 3 hours later. You've got the condiments, you have your plum sauce, You have your mash on, and we have that on. And this is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. And basically all we're going to serve it off is a bit of bok choy and maybe some grilled eggplant and courgette. And a watercress salad, but it'll be a dumbed down watercress salad because I'm going to show you a mean watercress salad tomorrow with the fine dining pork dish that I'm going to do. But yeah, come back for part 3 where I'll basically have started or do the mash. Everything should be ready to go, and I'll